All right, city council meeting yesterday through last eve. I guess executive session started at what time yesterday?
Well, we had a work session at 1:30.
Okay.
It started at 1:30.
So basically you went from 1:30 to 7. Mm-hmm. Okay, what a day.
What a day.
Okay, let's talk about bike routes.
Oh, let's.
All right. No, I guess that, we're looking at, safety and, it's a healthy mode of transportation. But, everything always seems to boil down to those three dirty little words. It's just money.
It's just money.
Now, as I understand it, if you get any sort of funding from the federal government for streets, then, bike routes come into play. Is this true or false?
Well, and David Jones can explain it a lot better, but it has something to do with if you get federal funding for highway system or for streets for your city, there has to be so many bike routes. And he can explain it a whole lot better than I can. But this study, and we actually have some bike routes. The problem in Lubbock is the connectivity. So, and we're getting better. We have some connectivity down by Tech. We've put up some signage. We've done some of that. But when you get into downtown and when you get, a lot of the problem downtown is the diagonal parking. Mm-hmm. That's
right.
a big problem. I do know that they have looked at it. Mr. McDougall's looked at when we do redevelop downtown, what are we going to do and how are we going to do that? But that's part of it. And I do think with this study that they're doing, that will come into play.
Okay. When they do the study, mm-hmm. How much is a study going to cost? Or do we know yet?
I'm not sure. I know the MPO has budgeted $200,000.
Wow. Okay, the MPO being the
Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Okay. Now, just kind of back up and to bring me up from behind the curtain of ignorance. How does this MPO come about? Who is the MPO?
Well, it's city, county. Wolford, we have a representative from Wolforth. There's TxDOT's involved. It's a group. We meet every month. Huh. I'm on it. Mayor Robertson, Jeff Griffith, David Jones is the director. Dave Eichhorst is on it from TxDOT. I'm trying to think. Doc Addington from Wolforth. Maurice Pearl from City Bus is on it. Patty Jones, County Commissioner. Judge Head. There's lots of folks are on it.
Okay,
did we talk about
there's
dollars?
A lot of
how
input.
Much? How many dollars did we talk about? How many dollars we spend on this study?
Well,
200,000.
Yeah.
Well, 200,000 is coming from MPO,
right?
And then you're going to have, I believe, for the budget it'll be a capital project for the city of Lubbock, and I believe it's budgeted $75,000 for a capital project, and then Tech will, from what I understand last night, will come into play, but we don't know how much they will put in.
Well, I think it's important to a lot of people who would bike to work, who might live close enough, not just by Tech, but other areas of the city as well, if they didn't have the fear of being hit by a car. I would, when I do my voice work, it's not that far from my home. I would hop on a bike and go do that, then bike home because it's good
oddly
exercise.
Enough,
that would be my exercise for the day.
There are people here in Lubbock, and quite a few, that have regular jobs that don't own a car.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people here that bike. There was a big group of bikers there last night.
Yeah.
A big group.
Right.
And there's a lot of cyclists here in Lubbock that want to be able to cycle. And I don't know that if it's necessarily just in town, but even out. Mm-hmm. But, I don't even know if it's going to be on the main thoroughfares. It'll be probably on the secondary streets, the collector streets, which is probably the best route for anybody, rather than being on those 7-lane thoroughfares.
Right.
Yeah. That's, well, the way people drive,
Well, and I don't know if that's just Lubbock. I think that's anywhere.
this is kind of...
Lubbock drivers get a bad rap. But,
They do.
It's
everywhere.
Well, they've earned it, especially in bad weather. But it's really it's really kind of interesting because, the the motorcycle people, have their their groups, and they campaign and promote certain things. But the thing is the bicyclists try and do the same thing, but it just doesn't seem like they get as much attention, I guess, because it's not a motor vehicle. But realistically speaking, people on bicycles are even more vulnerable than people on motorcycles.
Oh, there are a lot more. Yeah.
So it's...
Well, I think people, although I don't think people watch out for motorcycles, they certainly don't watch out for bicyclists.
Yeah.
I think you just have, and they are hard to see if they come up beside you. Motorcycles are hard to see. We own a motorcycle and we ride, and you just have to drive so defensively.
Right.
When you're on a motorcycle.
Yeah, you have to ride like everybody's out to run you over.
Yeah, and nobody sees you. You just have to, and I'm sure bicyclists do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Was there some kind of time on this getting more bike routes, or?
I'm not sure what the time frame is. I do know that it's in the 15-16 budget.
Okay.
All right, in conversation with Karen Gibson, Lubbock City Council meeting last night. If you'd like to ask a question, make a comment, 770-5790. It is Friday. Welcome to the weekend. Karen Gibson is here after Lubbock City Council meeting last night. All right, for all practical purposes, somebody's watching City Council meeting on Channel 2. You start talking about buying property off of 2nd Street in Santa Fe, everybody gets up and goes to the bathroom.
You're so eloquent with your words,
Right.
Tom.
Well,
I tell you what he said about me yesterday.
Here's the thing. I mean, it's just, it's important stuff. But, it's just not one of those things like, everybody's wanting to see the fireworks. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so what we're doing is, or what we voted on, was purchasing 1.22 acres from the Texas Department of Transportation for the expansion of a city plant or the establishment of a city plant.
Well, the water department needed it for whatever they're doing over there. We had a choice from TxDOT to either purchase 1.5 acres, it was 1.5 some odd acres, or 1.22. And we chose to purchase the 1.22 because we didn't need all of it. And in my opinion, you just purchase what you need. There's no reason for us to purchase all of it.
Well, the difference would be an approximate measurement of about 100 by 150.
Yeah, what we didn't need was minimal. There was a public hearing on that. Or,
Just
I'm sorry,
more
not a
grass to
public
mow.
hearing. There wasn't a public hearing, but there was a couple of people there that spoke on that didn't want us to purchase all of it. And I'm not really sure.
They wanted it for something?
I guess. And one of the people that spoke, I guess he owns the property adjacent to that. And so if we didn't buy all of it, he had the first right of refusal for what we didn't purchase. And I'm assuming that's a state law from what I gathered last night. So, and I wasn't anywhere near purchasing all of it anyway. I just thought you purchase what you need and that's what you buy.
Well, I know what you're thinking. What's a man got to give for 1.22 acres in North Lubbock off University Avenue, 2nd and Santa Fe? Would be $132,843.
That would be correct.
And what is it going to be used for?
Water. The water people need.
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
You know, according.
Wood Franklin needed
Wood
that
Franklin
for his
wanted it.
department.
Okay.
You know, this is amazing to me. And you know, the price of real estate. I mean, is just gone through the roof in the past several years. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, you go out, you go out and you look. I mean, in some of these outlying, I mean, you know, you drive on these farm to market roads and way, way, way out of town. And, you know, people have, you know, 3.5 acres, 1.5. You know, I mean, I was over in, you know, driving around looking cotton fields a couple of weeks ago because of the rain and stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, 1.5 acres, $4 million. You know, 3.5 million, $12 million. It's just like, who can afford? Who can afford to buy this?
Right.
No one. I mean,
you know, I guess they can if they've got it for sale for that.
I mean, it's just like I was out and you know they had this thing out at Kegel Steaks last weekend. It was the old folks boogie thing for the Inside Out Foundation. Mm-hmm. So I'm driving around. I went out there just to check it out. I'm driving down some side street off of Research, you know, down like a caliche road that had mud puddles on it. Mm-hmm. I saw this sign off in the weeds, you know, covered up by some trees, and I call this guy. He's got 3.5 acres. What do you want for that? Oh, we're asking $450,000. It's owned commercial. Really? $150,000 an acre on a dirt road. Wow. Somebody's getting rich, and it ain't me. But you know, this is you know, and it really is amazing that, and you know, I know a lot of people, most people, you know, just perpetually moan about, you know, I mean, city taxes and property taxes and stuff like that. You know, it's amazing to me that a municipality can, you know, go out there and function without people paying more. And it's, you know, it just becomes more and more apparent the more you look at it. It's a struggle. I mean, it really is a struggle just to survive financially, because it's like everybody's got their hand out. Mm-hmm. Everything costs money. You can't do anything without spending money.
And everything keeps going up.
You know, it's like the people that, you know, bought in, and, you know, you could have spent out west of town, a plot in question, there was about 12 acres that I looked at, you know, back in the 1980s, early 1990s, $18,000. I about had a cow when the guy was like, you know, that same property today, it's worth about $15 million.
I'm sure. Should have took him up on it.
Right. Missed that opportunity.
You missed that boat.
Way to go, stupid. All right. You know, I don't know what business you're in, but sometimes when we have these conversations, it becomes painfully obvious that you and me both are in the wrong business. All right. Relative the widening of 98th Street between University Avenue and the interstate, we're paying, what, 7.9?
No, 7.174.
Oh, $7.174 million for the widening of. Now, what do we get for $7.1 million?
We're going to widen that street from 98th to, I'm sorry, 98th Street from University to the interstate.
Okay, and
or to US 87. It's
so,
not the
so
interstate
right
at
now,
that point.
basically, it's 4 lanes, right?
No, it's 2.
Oh, it's 2
Yeah.
lanes. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to how many lanes?
It'd be 4,
It
right?
will go to probably 5 because you'll have a turn lane.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't counting that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They may take that to a 7-lane thoroughfare.
Really?
I bet they do. Yeah. For $7 million, that's going to be a 7-lane thoroughfare. Let me double check, but I believe that's what it's going to be.
$1 million per lane.
Sweet.
They'll match it because what it is now.
Sweet
is
if you're the one doing the
7
work.
lanes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be a 7-lane.
Okay, so 7.1. You said 7.177.
7.174.
7.174. Okay, now that's the low bid. What was the high bid on the deal?
7.19. Hold on.
So I guess the high bid was, the guy was being a greedy Gus trying to gouge us for another 200 G.
7.199.
Anyway, so Alan Butler Construction gets his contract. So when is all this going to be starting, and when is it going to, be completed? Or do we have that information yet?
I'm not sure what the start date on that is, but they'll only have they have a certain number of days to do it, and then if it's not done within those certain number of days, you begin liquidated damages, and if it's not done within that, they owe us money for every day they're not done.
Wow, really? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yes.
Well, not
That's
sure
on every
I
project.
realize that because it seems like they take forever.
Well,
to do street
now
projects.
if the weather's bad or certain things, obviously that they can't control, that
Right.
wouldn't play in. But if it's just because of slow work or whatever,
Right.
They decide they
yes.
want to go to the lake or something.
Yeah, that certainly isn't the citizens' fault.
Yeah, and this is university to the interstate? Is
Yep,
that
to
On
87.
98th, yeah.
to what? Oh, all the way to 87. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That would be nice. when
It will
that's
be
done.
nice. It'll be real nice because right now that is a rough road.
It is.
It is.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
'cause that's,
there's
it's
no
narrow.
shoulders
no,
at
There's
all.
no shoulders, and it's very narrow.
I noticed, on a lot of these projects out there that the city peeps and everything, like about a year or so ago, with we had who's the county commissioner guy that we always have in here? Anyway,
Which one? There's three of them.
well,
I
Three
don't know.
men, one woman.
yeah,
Which one
it's
do you wanna-
not Bill and it's not
Mark.
yeah
Bubba?
Mark Heinrich.
Okay.
When we were talking about some of these projects out there by Cooper, somehow they managed to pull this off where TxDOT was kind of throwing for the whole deal, or almost all of it. So, how much cooperation is the state working with us on this? As far as, or are we getting any augmentation from the state? Or
On this one, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a very good question.
okay.
I can find out for you,
Well,
and I
goody.
will.
All right. Lubbock's First News. Karen Gibson is here after City Council meeting. Relatively quiet during the meeting. No torches, no pitchforks. But we were talking about, or you were talking about, at the council meeting, it was second reading of the information on the oil and gas royalties, which actually feed the North and East Lubbock Fund, which is kind of like, I guess, the reservoir that feeds the NELCDC. And how does that work?
We have a fund in general fund, and it's the North and East Lubbock Neighborhood and Infrastructure Fund, which is what I think all of those money should stay in, and we should fund certain things out of instead of it going to NELCDC. But what we did last night was true up those oil and gas royalties that come in to that fund and to the Central Business District.
Okay, so when you say true up, explain.
Well, when we do our budget, it's just an estimate as to how much is going to come in. And then once those monies actually come in, we have to true it up as to what actually came in.
Right.
So what that was just an amendment to what actually had come in.
Kind of sorts balancing the checkbook.
Yeah,
Kind of a
that's
thing.
exactly what it is.
All right. Now, this goes to the North and East Lubbock Fund, or the monies. Now, this was second reading, so voted and passed? Okay.
5-2.
And who were the fours and who were the dissents?
Glenn and I were the dissents.
Okay. And what is the physical amount of the funds that are the money that are going to be going into the funds approximately?
I can't. It was 700 and I can't remember what the actual true up was. Just a second, I can tell you. But I'll tell you one reason I vote against that is because I've said this many times. in my opinion, that money belongs to the city, the entire city. And I don't think it belongs in just those two funds. I believe that money should go into the general fund because I believe that is the city's money. It's not just those funds' money. And so that is one reason I have a hard time just putting it towards those two funds.
Well, and I get it because, you have, property taxes and things and expenditures from one part of the city that fund the entire city. Where did we ever get off on this thing to where just because these wells are in the north part of Lubbock that the money stays there? I mean, how did that happen?
That was voted on by the council.
And was this was many moons ago?
It was a couple of councils ago, yes.
Okay, so can that money ever be, redirected?
Well, you'd have to have a vote of the council to do it, and I don't
Not
see that
happening
right
now. Yeah, I get it.
I just don't think that would happen right now. And, I'm still not going to vote for that. I think, once again, I think that's the citizens' money. I think it's all of the citizens' money. It's the same principle as I have lots and lots of permits taken out in my district, but I don't keep all of that permit money in my district. And the thinking was that most of those oil royalties are coming in that district, so that's where that money needed to stay. But I personally disagree with that. I think it's the citizens' money, everybody's money.
Karen Gibson after City Council meeting. All right, just in case you were wondering what's happening with the Citizens Tower, it's still sitting there at what address? Still there. Isn't going anywhere.
It is still there.
Okay, basically we've hired the architectural firm.
Yeah.
Okay, they're doing their thing.
They are.
They're expected to take how long?
A year to 18 months.
Okay, and to your knowledge, what are they doing right now?
The architectural firm?
They're putting together.
They're working
on
hard.
vacation.
Right, but
They're working hard.
They're actually.
This is a firm out of Dallas.
Yes.
So they're putting the plan together, or they're actually making a plan and they're implementing the plan as they go. How is this working?
Well, they are doing the all of the plans for the building, and they will be doing the I'm at a loss for words.
Remediation?
No.
Space planning?
Space, yes, thank you. The space planning and they have a lot to do. That's a big building.
It's a big job.
It's a big job.
This is a big firm, right, in Dallas, or is it a relatively
yes? And they've
small?
done. And they are extremely reputable, from what I understand. From I've visited with the mayor about it, and Mr. Griffith. He's very familiar with them, and they both said that they have done many jobs on municipal buildings and police stations and so forth.
Yeah.
So, and they're also doing the police station at the same time. So they're doing both simultaneously.
It's so detail oriented. I'm sure that there's
it is.
just so many details they have to work out and all. I guess that's why it takes so long. Did they just underbid any Lubbock firms that have gone for that, or did we have any Lubbock firms try to get that job?
They did have, I believe, some Lubbock firms that did come in, but they won.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we had some.
I'm just saying that because I know Lubbock people probably could have done it faster.
Well, they don't have a 5.5 hour commute. Anyway, we had some concern, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was a month ago with the mayor. Had some calls, people saying, well, hey, how much bigger is the building? What about the parking, when the city hall is actually done? But
we have lots of parking.
Right. No, as it turns out, there's actually twice the parking available at the new facility as there would
really?
be.
We have
Yeah.
a lot of parking.
Yeah, good.
So,
Yeah. I think once it's done, it is going to be sensational.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. It'll be after I'm gone, but I think it'll be really neat.
What?
Sounds like she's quitting her job.
Well, I'm not, but I mean, it'll be over 3 years.
You can hang in there for 3 more years.
Yeah, well, I will be here for 3 years. I mean,
See?
I still have
So are you
plenty of time on my term.
Are you telling us that you're not going to run again?
I'm not saying anything, Tom.
That's what you call pleading the fifth.
I am not
Right.
saying anything, Tom.